Hi guys, hope you're all okay. I just thought I'd talk about some more pretty sort of unknown, obscure horror films, and for this video I picked out a few of those good old 1980s slasher films that we all love. All these ones I don't think I've really talked about before, all pretty unknown, definitely worth a watch. So first one I've got is Blood Harvest. This one is from the mid 80s. Pretty decent film. I like it. Not that many people talk about it. A little bit different from the usual Friday the 13th type, but it's a cool film. It's about this sort of young woman. She comes back to her hometown after years away. She goes to the farmhouse of her parents. The parents are missing, and soon after she kind of gets, stalked, spied on and stuff, and then her friends, her boyfriend, start to get killed by someone lurking around the house, and they're killed by sort of being hung up like cattle and have their throats slashed. So some pretty cool murders, and the prime suspect for the killings is this sort of really weird guy who lurks around. He sort of dresses up like a clown. But this is a good film, I like it. Definitely worth a watch if you've not seen it. Like I say, some pretty cool killings. Quite sleazy, just very entertaining in my opinion. That's Blood Harvest. And this one does have a few DVD releases out there, but this one is the only uncut one as far as I know. That's Blood Harvest. Next one we've got Don't Panic. This one is late 80s I think. Actually a Mexican made slasher film, which is actually dubbed into English. Basically about this guy on his 17th birthday. He gets this sort of Ouija board off one of his friends. They all play on it, and soon after, all his friends and certain people start to get killed, and this guy seems to be the prime suspect for it. It's a cheesy one, but I think it's pretty decent. Got a few pretty cool gory killings, and it's definitely entertaining. That's Don't Panic, pretty obscure one. Next one I've got is Buried Alive. This one I think is from 1989, a film that I've never really heard anyone talk about, which is a shame. I think this one's actually pretty decent. It does have a pretty good cast actually. You've got Robert Vaughn, Donald Pleasance, so it's definitely worth a watch. It's basically about this sort of young teen girl. She's kind of sent to this sort of like a school for troubled girls. They're all sent there, and as you can imagine, there's like a killer sort of lurking around this sort of school. Some of the girls end up getting killed. I like it. It's a good film. Doesn't have a massive body count, but there are a few cool killings. Definitely worth a watch. It's Buried Alive. Next one we've got Cassandra from 1987. Really good film in my opinion. It's actually an Australian sort of slasher film. Just about this young woman. She sort of has these weird nightmares about something. All her parents basically say there's nothing to worry about, all's okay. But then in her nightmare she starts to see people being killed, and as you can imagine, people are being killed. Really cool film, really well directed, very stylish. The film reminds me of a Giallo, which is one of the reasons why I really like it. Got some really good scenes in it, stalking scenes, very good suspense. Not a massive body count, but there are some pretty cool killings. Really like this film. That's Cassandra. Next one we've got Satan's Blade. This is one I managed to find on eBay about 5 or 6 months ago. I believe this one's a bootleg. I don't think it has an official release. Pretty obscure one, but I like it. I think it's a decent film. Film starts off quite interesting. You've got these two sort of female bank robbers. They hold up this bank, kill a couple of workers there and basically drive off to their hideouts where they're supposed to share the money, but then one of them gets greedy, shoots the other woman so she can take the money for herself, but soon after she is stabbed by someone. You don't see the person, and then things get very familiar. After that you get like his two sort of young married couples hire out this sort of cabin in the woods which was near the scene of the crime, and also as a group of college girls, so the setup is very familiar and of course very enjoyable for a slasher film. Soon after they obviously all start to get picked off by someone who you don't see. Cool film. I liked it because it had this sort of snowbound setting which is a little bit different, so the film did have a bit of atmosphere even though it is badly acted. The killing, there's quite a few killings, it's quite a high body count, but I mean the special effects aren't great. But in my opinion this is an entertaining slasher film. I like it. That's Satan's Blade. Next one we've got Evil Judgement, early 80s one I think this is. Another pretty obscure one of course. I like this film, always have done. It was a blind buy for me a few years back. I've seen it a few times since, I always enjoy it. Not your typical setup really, but it's a cool film just about this sort of young woman. She works in this sort of cafe and she goes along with one of her friends who works as like a call girl, and then one night when she's with her and the client, her friend gets killed, so does the client, and the woman sort of passes out. No one believes her that she's seen these people being killed. It's all been covered up, and then she begins to get stalked and stuff. Entertaining film, good story, very sort of gritty feel to it. Does have some good killings too. Not very inventive killings, usually sort of throat slashings, but they're pretty gory. I like it, it's a good film. Really intriguing story, good twist. That's Evil Judgement. Next one I've got is The Night Brings Charlie. This one I think might be 1990, but I thought I'd include it anyway. I've not talked about this one before. Pretty low budget slasher film, but I like it. Very familiar storyline. This sort of small town, people start to get killed. This person, you know, called Charlie is the prime suspect, but of course there's more to it than that. Entertaining slasher film. As the film gets going, the body count gets higher. I like it. Might be pretty low budget, but it's a cool film. That's The Night Brings Charlie. And this last one I'll show. This one may be more known in America, but here in Britain it's pretty unknown. Never really heard anyone here talk about it. And it's Night Screams, which has got to be one of those cheesy slasher films around. I like it, entertaining film. Really typical storyline. Bunch of sort of college kids sort of throw this party. There's a killer around, they start to get picked off, but also thrown into the mix are these escaped prisoners who just broken out of jail. They sort of end up around the party as well. Entertaining film, really gets going during the murder scenes. It's got some pretty cool killings. I like it, definitely worth a watch if you're into the good old 1980s slasher films. So I'll leave it there. So thanks everyone for watching this video. Take it easy.